Welcome to the Winning with Shopify podcast. This is the podcast to help you scale your Shopify store into a money-making machine. Email has the highest ROI of all marketing channels. Are you maximizing its potential and growing your list? Drive conversions and create more connections with Seguno, the top-rated email marketing platform built exclusively for Shopify. Seguno is offering Winning with Shopify listeners an extended free trial, plus a complimentary strategy session with an email marketing expert. Visit seguno.com/winningwithshopify to claim your offer. Now, over to your host, Nick Truman.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast. For anyone that's tuned in before, you'll know that I don't normally sound like this. I have a bit of sore throat today, a little bit of a cough, so apologies if I'm making any funny noises. If it's your first time tuning in, then welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you tuning in. We're delighted to have you joining us today. If you like this episode, hit the subscribe button, leave us a review, do all the above. You know what I'm going to say. I always forget all the different bits of technology, but make sure you engage with us. And if you want to ask us any questions, reach out and ask us to look at anything for you, or you've got a question about a particular type of marketing. Specifically, if you've got any questions about email, we're in the middle of a series about email at the moment. So some of these questions have been sent in by people. Apologies, I don't always shout you guys out. I do if it's a really contentious question, but I find that a lot of you guys send the same question. But if you want to send a question in, winningwithshopify.com. So winningwithshopify, all one word, .com. Fill out one of the forms on the website, send us a question, comes through to myself and to my colleague as well. I think our record was a few hundred questions in a single week. So try and beat that if you can, guys. Ask us lots about email. We've got some great guests coming up. And for those who've been listening for the last few weeks at least, if not longer, we're talking about email. So we're working with an amazing email platform called Seguno, and we're doing a whole range of different topics throughout this. And today I'm delighted to be joined by a very special guest, who is a merchant who runs his own Shopify store. His name's Todd, and he's from a company called Total Sports Enterprises. So Todd, without further ado, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Great stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to our conversation today and learning more about your business. But before we dive into my questions and talk about email, we ask all of our guests, Todd, tell us a bit about your background, a little bit about the business, and a little bit about how you got involved in this industry as well.
Okay. Total Sports Enterprises, we're a sports memorabilia company. We sell collectibles. We work directly with the professional athletes. We have connections with the Steelers, Pirates, Penguins. They're the football, baseball, and hockey teams here in Pittsburgh. We work directly with the athletes, sometimes with the athletes' agents, whatever it might be. We have them into our office. We have them sign memorabilia. We take them to public signings so that people can actually meet them. And it's a very interesting business. We have a lot of fun with it.
Okay, cool. So I guess a big question from me, just before we dive into talking about email and talking about your email campaigns, is that a lot of businesses we see sort of setting up and starting on Shopify are drop shippers, or they're all selling a very similar, I would say, copyable product. So the barrier to entry in their market to a competitor setting up is really, really low. You know, I could challenge a lot of them with my experience and just set up a Shopify store, but I haven't got the time or the willingness to do it. But in your space, I guess you've probably got quite a USP, haven't you? You've probably got a lot of single run products. You're probably the person who's got the only product or the only signature of that athlete on this particular thing. So I guess from that perspective, your business is probably quite secure, isn't it, in terms of competitors trying to set up and challenge your marketing space?
Well, no. Actually not.
Okay.
There is the ability when we have public signings, we bring the athlete to the people. People can bring in their own items. They can bring in whether it's a picture that they had with the athlete when they were 6 years old, or maybe it's a game used item or something like that. We do offer that service. But Total Sports Enterprises, we really do produce to the masses. So we'll have at any one signing, the athlete might sign, 96 mini helmets, 24 full-size helmets, or whatever it might be. So it's that item for the guy that has a man cave that wants to have, 25 different full-size helmets throughout their man cave or whatever it might be, something like that. Those one-off pieces, they become much more expensive. But so we are more geared towards the masses, but we do cater to the people who are looking to, like I said, to have that special item or that thing that is personal to them signed by an athlete.
Nice, nice. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess you still got exclusivity, but as you say, it's from a business point of view, it's probably even more secure than having a good range of products. It's not like we've got one item and one item only, and we need to sell it, and then that's it. I guess having a run of them makes a lot of sense, which is cool. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about email. So email is the main, obviously, topic we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be talking about, for everybody listening at home, we're going to be talking about cadence. So how often to send emails and how to sell to a quite, as Todd's already said, quite a highly engaged customer base. So I guess a question for you then, Todd. You mentioned man caves, collectors. What does an ideal customer look like for you guys, just so our listeners can picture who are we talking about, who's going to receive these emails?
Sports fans. People are fans of the local teams here in Pittsburgh. But that ranges from the guy who has this huge man cave with hundreds of items, all the way down to the grandmother that's looking for a gift for their grandson. So we're in a pretty big market, a pretty big niche, in that we have, again, the collectors to the people who are looking for that one-off gift for a family member.
So I guess a big question then is, how much do you guys have to segment your audiences then? Because I guess the shopping list of a sports fan, somebody who's, collector collecting lots of these items, is going to be very, very different to grandma buying something for their grandson and doesn't really understand football.
Honestly, we don't segment too much. I understand the importance of it or how it could be used, but we have always took the approach of more of a shotgun approach and trying to reach as many people as possible. When we're sending out an email, we'll consider either what's happening in the news, what particular sports team is hot right now or is actually in season. So we don't honestly get into too much of the segmenting at this point, but there is a value to it, and I can understand why some businesses would use it, but it's just not something that we take advantage of.
Nice, nice. And I think it's certainly interesting because I've had so many people on the podcast or spoken to people in the past that have said segmentation is the most important thing. So it's interesting to hear that you guys are having so much success not segmenting, which I think is quite interesting. How often do you guys send emails then? Like, what's the frequency that you're pushing something out to your audience?
So we generally will send out twice a day.
Wow.
Usually in the morning. One more in the evening time, and each one typically will have a different subject, a different point of the email. But yeah, we send out twice a day. Sometimes once, but we're generally about twice a day.
Wow, and I mean, a lot of people are listening to that and probably thinking that's way too much. Did you build into that? Did you just start doing twice a day from the get-go, so people just that's what you get from us? Do you find you get a lot of unsubscribes from that as well?
We have been doing twice a day for a long time.
Okay.
And when I talk to people about it, either in the industry or talking about email, whether it's at a party or whatever it might be, and I mention that I do it twice a day, I generally get the same reaction. But my thought has always been that if the people that we're sending to, if they're not interested in what I have to say or what I'm offering, they're not a customer anyways. So I would rather them not get the emails than to be upset about the fact that I'm sending them emails. So to me, like I said, if they're not interested in what we have to say, then they're just going to leave anyways. They're probably not a customer, so I don't mind sending out 2 a day and weeding out the people that probably weren't a customer anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how did you guys find that frequency of 2 emails a day then? Like, why not 4 a day? Why not 2 a week? Why 2 a day?
We started with doing 2 a day pretty much from the beginning. And I tried to base them around when and what people are doing. So the first one we'll send out at 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, right before the workday starts. They're sitting down in front of their computer. They're looking at the emails from the night before, just kind of trying to see what's going on, trying to figure out what their day's going to look like. So they're engaged. Then the other email will be at night. We generally will do it right around 7:45, 8 o'clock, which is usually after dinner, but before they're engaged in either the game that's going to be coming on or the show that they want to watch. So we really try to engage our emails around where we think the people are going to be most engaged, looking at their phone, looking at their computer, and that was just developed really over time. We tweak some things here or there. Every once in a while, we'll send one. We'll call it a late night special. We'll send out one at 11 o'clock at night. But those the morning and right before prime time is what really our sweet spot. We found that that's when the people are most engaged.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way that you guys think about it as well. When I've spoken to a lot of people about email, it's always been a case of, we don't want to intrude. Whereas you're the opposite. You're like, you guys like football, and we're going to talk about football. We're going to exactly. We're going to talk about it a lot. And I do it's really refreshing as well to hear your comment about the unsubscribe. If you don't want to hear from me, that's fine. That just unsubscribe, get out the game now. And if you do want to hear from me, I imagine you probably end up with a much smaller database, but they are so engaged, those guys, aren't they? So it's like, we're not just talking to anybody anymore. We're talking to the people that want to buy regularly from us. So I guess a big question then is, you've got this audience, they're quite engaged. You've got rid of the people that aren't going to be engaged. How do you come up with, is it 365 days a year, 2 emails a day? How do you come up with over 700 stories a year to actually send out on your emails?
Well, we have a lot of content. We have 3 different teams that we, in this particular Pittsburgh market that we work with. We sell items from baseball. We sell items from hockey. We sell items from football. So it really will change what we're saying and how we say it. It could be product related. One email, the next email could be even more about the team. The next email could be about a specific player. So we do change it up, and we have over 3,000 SKUs. So it's easy to rotate through, the different things that we offer. We do try to base everything more on what's happening. If a player has a good camp or if a player has a great game or something like that, we'll focus on that for the next couple of days, just because they're naturally in the news. So we want to piggyback on that. We focus most of our emails on product and not on content, meaning that we're not telling a story about the athlete. We're not, providing any kind of news or anything like that. We are, here's our products. This is what we're selling. This is our promotion for the day. If you're interested, click here.
Nice. So many good things. I'm just writing notes to these because I want to talk about some of these as well. So many good ideas for send. You must have good ideas to send 700 odd emails a year. But I think, as you say, piggybacking about them being in the news, we've had so many guests come on, certainly from Seguno, saying that you need to talk about things that are topical and things that your audience are interested in at that moment. So I think sending an email out first thing in the morning saying, didn't so-and-so have such a good game yesterday? Here's the stuff, as you say, it's not news. You're not sharing anything people don't know, but here's the product to go with it. But daily promotions as well. Do you actually offer a discount on them and say, they played really well, here's a discount, buy this? Or when you say daily promotions, is it just, we're going to promote a product today, this is the one in focus, product of the day kind of thing?
Yeah, we do discounts. We don't do discounts.
Okay.
It does depend on where we are in the season, where we are in sales. If we're looking for a little pick me up, we'll provide a flash sale or something like that, or a site wide sale. I think just like anybody else, we have our good times, our bad times. So it's what we offer and how we offer it is. It really does change on day-to-day, email to email. Like you said, if there's a player that had a great game, we're going to provide a discount for them. We're going to ride that wave, as much as we can. The people are interested in those players. That's the player that's in the news. So we're going to do everything we can to get our products of that player out in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah, nice. And as I say, it's so timely as well when they've been playing and then you talk about them like the following morning or before the game, absolutely brilliant. And I guess a big part of this then is you guys have got, is it 3 websites as well? How do you guys come up with, or three teams, sorry, how do you guys come up with, not come up with, but you have all this content you create. Is there anything you do to speed up that process? Is there anything you use, any tools, any methods, any processes to try and speed up the creation of all of that to keep your emails relevant, keep them going out on time? And also, you've got a tight turnaround then, I guess, from this player was in the spotlight last night and here's us sending an email about them. What do you guys do in terms of process to make that efficient, make it happen on time, and also save time in doing all of these things?
We really do like Seguna. I like what they do, how they do it. To be honest, we do a lot of duplicating. We'll find an email that maybe worked before from a different player. We'll take that, we'll duplicate it, switch out the applicable products. We do the automation. Of course, abandoned carts and things like that. So that's kind of a set it and forget it. But to be honest, most of our emails, most of our content is done, by hand every single time. We'll schedule some things out if we know that they're, if we have a particular product that we want to try to sell out. I'll maybe throw in a couple emails so that they're scheduled out, and then I'll do my normal in between. But for the most part, my job is to sit down and to get as many engaged people to the website as possible. So, I sit down every morning, I sit down every evening, and I will create the emails. I take the time to create the emails based, again, on whatever's happening or whatever I think I want to try to push through. But, there's not a ton of scheduling and automation, but, it's there if you want to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you guys say that, because I think so many businesses now are just always looking for that silver bullet, that automatic, just turn on this app, does everything for you. I think the thing that so many businesses forget, and I love the fact you guys are doing this properly, is you're doing proper marketing. You're humans thinking about other humans, and that sounds really pedantic and really basic, but you are actually thinking about your customer and going, right, let's come up with a human story for these guys. I think a lot of people are scared of, rightly so, things like AI. It's like, am I talking to a human or an AI bot right now? And AI is certainly not in a place where it can be used. You're not going to use ChatGPT to write your emails. So I think you guys doing it manually, it must show to your customers. It must add that authenticity to the content they're receiving and the products they're buying and everything they're engaging with.
I hope it does. The AI is very cool, and it's unfortunately it's probably the way of the future, but it's just not what we're trying to do. You said it right. We're trying to reach the people. We want to help these people through the process. Sports memorabilia, it's rough. It's all about authentication. So I want the people to know and to feel and to know that there's somebody on the other end that's actually typing that email. It actually is putting a process into that email. AI, there's a place for it. We use it in other aspects, but for emails, I like the human touch for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned authenticity as well. I mean, it goes without saying that your product needs to be real. People need to believe it's real. They need to understand it's real. And you guys probably, I imagine with some of your content, actually have to prove it's real as well, just to say to customers, like, this is the real deal. This is this athlete in our office signing stuff, and you can buy one of these. Like, it's not, it's not a copy, it's not a photocopy or anything like that.
It's our biggest hurdle by far, and rightly so. There are some bad things out there, but we strive to make sure that the person understands that our items are real. We work directly with the athletes. A number of the athletes are our exclusive athletes, meaning that they can only sign for us. They come into our office, they sign items. We take pictures, we take videos. We include those pictures on the website so that the people can see the athlete in our office signing the items, so they know it's real. And again, like I said, authenticity is by far the biggest thing that we need to project to people, and that we're just using AI to push out as many emails as possible. That's not doing it. I like the personal touch. I like making people understand that what we sell is 100% real.
Yeah, and I imagine, even that authenticity of taking pictures of the athlete in your office, that's more content, isn't it? It's your favorite athlete. Here they are. They're in our office signing stuff, and you can buy that stuff. I think it all ties in nicely, which is cool. And speaking about the people, your customers, the people you're selling to, how do you grow your lists? Like, what are some of the things you do to get more people engaging with you, following you, purchasing your products?
The biggest thing we do is giveaways.
Okay.
It's a really great way of getting more people onto our list, and then we start to weed out the people who aren't really interested, but they were just throwing a dart and hoping they got lucky and won the item. But we work with a lot of different fan clubs, like Steeler fan clubs or Pittsburgh sports fan clubs, and we'll do giveaways with them. We'll give them the items that they'll push out the giveaway, so we can collect email addresses that way. We do cross market with all of our social media. So if we're doing a campaign to try to collect email addresses, we'll push that out onto all of our social media and vice versa. We want these people to see our name as much as possible. When we push out a promotion, I want these people to see it as much as possible. The rule is they have to see you 7 times to react. So I want to increase the time, or I want to decrease the time it takes for that person to see that 7 times. So we cross pollinate all over the place. But yeah, the giveaways is by far the best way for us to collect emails, and then again we start to weed them out from there.
Nice, nice. I mean, it sounds like such a good marketing model. So you do a giveaway, you connect up with the sports team, you put it, and the thing I really want to talk about as well is the 7 times. I think it's a really interesting concept, and that will be different for every business. I mean, 7's a good number; it's a good golden rule, I think. So getting someone to see something 7 times, that's going to be a lot harder if you do the opposite of what you just said, which a lot of people do. Social media looks different to the website, which looks different to email, which is different to what you're advertising on Facebook and Google ads. I think having all the channels, I guess you guys probably run a giveaway, don't you? And you say, right, there's a closing date. It's only for this many days or hours. And once it's shut, it's shut. But every channel, there's a giveaway. Click here to enter. It gives you something to shout about. And it must save you so much time going, we've got one story across all channels at any one time.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. I mean, it pushes out the message. It's strong. And now people are starting to get it. When we're pushing out these promotions, like you said, we have a deadline, we have a start time, and if you're interested, get in now because we're going to be shutting it down soon and moving on to the next one.
Nice, nice. And talking about timings then, so that's the timings of a giveaway, but obviously you guys are bound by sports timings, aren't you? There's a season. There's a time when they're playing. There's the off season. There's different points in the season. There's the starting bit where it's like how are all the teams going to be changing and playing differently. You've got the middle of the season where there's those hard-fought battles. There's the end of the season where some teams have given up. Some are just thriving. Somebody might have run away with the cup already in the league. And I'm obviously using lots of analogies about what we call football in the UK, which is slightly different to what you guys call football in the US. Both great sports, might I add. But seasonality, how do you guys manage seasonality? What do you have to do differently in the off seasons compared to the middle of the season compared to end of season? How does it change throughout the year?
Obviously, our biggest market, our biggest sport is football. So when they're not playing football, we need to get our version of football. When they're not in the season, we have to get a little more aggressive. We have to get a little bit more, creative with what we're saying, how we're saying it. But we are also in a position that we do baseball. We also do hockey. So we do always have a sport that is, in the front. It's front and center. So we will change our focus to them a little bit, but we're always going to be coming back to football. We're always going to be coming back to the football team because that is, by far in every market that we're in. That is, our biggest, portion of our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's probably similar to like you could get a clothing brand that sell like a summer range, winter range, and some of them even do a spring and autumn range as well. So they've always got something that's relevant, and it might just be that's our winter stuff. It's currently summer, that's over in the corner. I think you guys having those 3 sports and making sure they're 3 sports that actually the seasons overlap. So you've always got something that's in season. I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, do you guys do much in the off season then? Do you find it's during the season that you sell more products and actually the off season's quieter? Or is it the other way around where it's like, well, I can't watch football right now because there's not really much on, so I'm going to be buying products and engaging with it? Or do you find customers just generally have a break in the off season?
No, there's definitely a difference between the on season and off season for sure. So during the season, especially if the team's doing well, selling and emailing and getting the reaction and the opens is much easier than when we're sitting here in June 15th and there's really nothing happening,
Yep.
not even camp or anything like that. So yeah, we do have to get a little, like I said, get a little bit more creative. Maybe even increase the frequency a little bit, just so that people can see it. We want to keep the Steelers always in the back of their mind and try to push it to the forward of their brain. So there is a little bit more that needs to be done in the off season, but we're lucky enough that this is a pretty passionate town. People love their Steelers, so even though we do see a downtick, we're still able to keep the people engaged and able to provide them with pretty good content.
Yeah, I certainly, as a sports fan, and I hope I don't lose any listeners for saying this, I support Chelsea here in the UK because I grew up next to their training ground. But I mean, as a fan, when you suddenly get an email with the Chelsea logo on it and it's off season, it almost brings a bit of happiness because you're like, oh yeah, Chelsea, they're going to be playing soon. Like it's currently end of season and there's all the transfer gossip and everything's going on, which I think is cool. But so you mentioned the Steelers, and obviously that's it's a really, really passionate area, and everybody in the area is passionate about the team. But you guys, Dallas is a new store you're opening, isn't it? How are you guys approaching that? First of all, what is it? Is it a physical store? Is it just is it an online store? And but also, how are you guys approaching like a new market, new fan base, new team? I assume, how is all of that going to work?
So we do not have a physical presence. It will be an online store. Obviously the social media platforms. All of our items are shipped out of our main facility. The challenge, like we talked about a little before, is authenticity. The people need to know that we're new to the area. So first of all, who the heck is Total Sports Enterprises? And then once we have been able to introduce ourselves by doing giveaways, by trying to cross promote with all the different properties that we have, then we got to be able to show them that these items that hopefully are going to be purchasing, that they're real. So we again, we'll go back to the same thing: pictures of the athletes signing, trying to have as many items as we can from as many players as we can, so they have a wide range of items to choose from. There's the old players, the new players. There's the guys in between. There's the linebackers. There's the quarterbacks. There's the offense. There's the defense. So the amount of items, the quantity, the quality of items that we have available, I think shows a little bit of authenticity as well. But yeah, it's the pictures of the players. It's making sure that these people know who we are and that we're selling authentic items.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you keep going back to that authenticity. It's obviously such a big focus for you guys. And I imagine, there must be so many fakes out there as well. Fake products, fake websites. We've had it before where clients have emailed us and said, who are these guys? And it's like they've literally just copy and pasted their website, pretending to sell their products, and it's just fraud. And luckily, there's more we can do about that with Google and Facebook and other stuff now. But I think that, as you say, it's interesting how even talking about launching in a new area with a new team, it's that authenticity is the first thing you guys go to, just to say, like, we are real, and if you believe that we're real and the products are real and they're actually signed by the players, you'll buy them because you have that passionate team following. But it's, as I say, it's interesting just to come straight back to that authenticity as that being the linchpin for actually getting this thing off the ground.
It's everything. If we can't show the people that the items are authentic, that they're not wasting their money on something that's not real, then we're not doing our job. We're not, and it's not what we want. We don't want to focus on the bad things and bad people maybe that are out there. We want to focus on us. We want people to know, hey, this is Total Sports Enterprises. They are in a number of different markets. They might not like the other markets that we're in, but at least they have to appreciate that these guys are real. That look at what they've done in the other markets, and all the players that they're with in those other markets. So yeah, if we can in any way possible show the authenticity, then that's our job, that's our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, final question then, Todd. We'll come into land on this one. Some people, I think, will still be listening to us talking, thinking like, oh my gosh, you send twice a day. So I guess the final question then is, what advice would you give to a merchant who's only perhaps sending like once a month, twice a month at the moment? What advice would you give to another Shopify merchant who's not sending much? They're tempted to, but they're nervous, they're cautious. What advice would you give to those guys about testing more regular sending?
My advice would be do it more. Maybe not ramp. The next day start sending out 2 a day, but start ramping up. And again, I go back to the point that if someone is unfollowing us or doesn't want to receive our emails anymore because we're sending out 2 a day, then they're probably not a customer anyways. So
yep.
We're not no harm, no foul. So my number one suggestion would be send out more. Make it relevant. Don't just repeat the same thing over and over and over again, because then that becomes boring. But if you're showing different products, you're showing different content, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're doing a service or whether you're doing a product, keep it fresh, keep it interesting, keep it news relevant. I think you'll find that you're not going to lose as many people as you think you're going to lose. And again, those people that you've lost probably weren't a customer anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 things I would add to that. I think everything you said is great. I'm going to add 2 statistics that I think are really important on this topic. Number 1 is lifetime value versus new customer acquisition. I think if you can get more orders from your existing customers, or not even customers, just subscribers, people subscribe to your email, that's going to be so much cheaper than paying Google or Facebook or anyone else to acquire a new customer. So that's the first stat that I would throw in. And the second one is I'm going to quote what you've just said, Todd. I want to back up actually what you just said about don't ramp it up immediately. Don't go to once or twice a day overnight. I think if you're currently sending monthly, why not think about like actually moving to weekly? And then once you're doing weekly, why don't you always do like a kind of Saturday morning email and a Monday evening email? Like you were saying at the start with your customers, when are they going to be on their phones? When do they actually want to engage with your content? When's a good time to talk to these guys? Say your audience were lawyers and financial services experts. They're wearing a suit, they're sitting in an office. 3 p.m. in the afternoon or 10 a.m. in the morning are bad times to reach them. They're busy, they're at work, they all work 9 to 5. I think thinking about when your customers are available to do stuff. But I love that point of don't ramp it up overnight. I think, slowly increase that frequency and don't be scared to lose people while you're doing that, I think is amazing. So Todd, a massive pleasure to have you on the show today. I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Amazing. And for everybody listening at home, we've got more amazing guests on the way. If you've enjoyed today's episode, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Final question from me, Todd. If people want to reach out and ask you a question or follow you online or see what's going on, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Total Sports Enterprises. Our website is tsdshop.com.
Awesome. So check those guys out. If you want to ask any questions, follow what they're doing. Obviously, subscribe to Todd's emails and expect 2 a day. And you can see what Todd's doing, which can help you guys with your store as well. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you again next week. And we hope you're all enjoying the podcast.